Hi, my darlings. I'm Sophie Darling, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hello, my name is Sophie. I have a doctorate in literature, which means I get way too emotionally invested in the shows that we're watching. So if that sounds like something that you would enjoy, then please don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video. Today, we're reacting to episode 11 of Jujutsu Kaisen, and we had Itadori meet Yoshino after tracking him down. Nanami has gone into overtime, which he's not too happy about, but it's going to be really freaking cool. And I have a horrible feeling that Itadori and Yoshino are gonna really hit it off and become really close in a very short span of time, only for it just to not end well, because I think Yoshino has been given powers by Mahito. I can't remember how to pronounce his name. Either way, I think he's given him abilities. He was about to use them on the teacher before Itadori intervened. And he seems to quite like Itadori just from that brief interaction. I think Itadori is showing him that not everyone is a bully and there is good to be found in humanity, but Yoshino is so jaded from being bullied and his past experiences that he's finding it really difficult to kind of change his perspective. And I think Itadori will eventually get through to him, but I think by the time he gets through to him, it's gonna kind of be too late. Like, he's done some things that he can't come back from. And I don't know, I just feel like this little dynamic is going to be incredibly heartbreaking and tragic. I think because we're seeing how they can be friends, how alike they are. And usually when you have people on two opposite sides, one that is hell-bent on helping people at any cost and the other person is looking to harm them as a way to regain the power that they've lost from being bullied, it never ends well. It never ends well. It's always tragic. It's always sad. So I'm hoping that Yoshino does have somewhat of a happy ending. Not happy in that, like, he gets to live in peace and harmony, but he can be brought back onto the right path by Itadori, but only time will tell. I just have a feeling it's going to really set up this dynamic, this bond that they're establishing, that they could be friends, but then something ruins it and they end up on opposing sides because obviously Yoshino didn't want abilities for positive reasons and it kind of puts him at odds with Itadori. And I really hope that at some point he can be brought back onto the right path, but I don't think it's going to happen for a while because he's just been granted these abilities. He is likely going to feel really torn, but ends up siding with Mahito because Mahito was the one that granted him this opportunity in the first place. But without further ado, we're going to get into episode 11. I love Nanami. It's the way that he takes his tie off and he wraps it around his fist. Oh, it's so hot. What an icon.
7対3の比率の点を強制的に弱点とするものです。線分するのは全長やウィングスパンだけではありません。頭部、胴、上腕、前腕などのパーツまで対象として指定できます。そしてこの術式は生物以外にも有効です。
Because it heightens it, right? It makes it stronger. He mentioned that to Itadori.
一つ、呪霊の呪力が尽きるまでダメージを与え続ける。だが、こちらはあまり現実的ではない。二つ目は、全身を一撃で粉々にする。横隔呪法。
Collapse. Ah! Oh my god, he's so strong. I guess I should dodge this one. What?
一旦退きます。足、早く治した方がいいですよ。お互い生きていたら、また会いましょう。
I love that he knows his limits. He's like, I could win this, but I could also lose this. So there's no point investing this time and energy into this guy because I'm not going to be able to exhaust him. I also have to smash him to bits with one single blow. That didn't work. So I'm kind of done. I'm going to clock out now. I'm in overtime. If we see each other again, cool. We can try this again. But it's so rare to actually see a character know their limits and accept their limits, and they don't just continuously push themselves until they eventually succeed. Every character I've seen always kind of pushes themselves over and over and over again. We saw it in Attack on Titan, we see it in Demon Slayer. We don't really see it as much in Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, but it is also the same in Chainsaw Man, where you just push yourself time and time and time again, and you might win, but you also might lose, but they don't accept their limitation. Whereas here, you do see Nanami go, nah, I'm good. I tried. It's not working. Today's not my day. I'm out. And I just think it's such a unique aspect of his character, but also just shows that he knows his strength and his capability to be able to accept that this isn't going his way, to read that the fight isn't worth dragging out, cutting his losses in order to preserve his life. I just love Nanami. I think he's just such a cool character.
ああ、ダメだ、イチスさん出ねえ。もう俺が聞いちゃっていいかな。つうか、バカ正直に聞いてもいいもんなのか？そもそも光線のことってどこまで言っていいんだっけ？
Yeah, they kind of didn't really tell him what he can and can't say.
どうしたもん
He's busy.
渦巻きのボタン？
この渦巻きのボタンを押している学生に会ったら仲良くするといい。
Oh no!
彼らは呪術師なんだ。きっと順平と気が合うよ。
でも呪術師って真人さんの敵だよな。
But he could be using him as a way to get close to them, that he can use him as a way of getting in and wiping them out
こういうキモいの
by making friends with them, because they'll not make friends with Mahito because
そう
he
いうのははっ
is
きり見えるようになったの
a
最近なん
curse.
だ。
じゃあ、もう聞くことねえや。
Oh no!
も
He's a
で
crafty
も
one.
一応俺の上司みたいな人が来るまで待ってくんない？
ういいけど、
サンキュー。なあ、映画館で何見てたの？
昔のリバイバル上映だから言ってもわかんないよ。
いいからいいから。
Oh, this is so cute. I just feel like it's gonna be tragic.
あれ超つまんねえよな。
He has been watching a lot of movies lately, so I mean, they can bond over that, right?
でも2は面白い。
でも2はちょっと面白かったな。
そうなんだよ。
Look at his little face!
楽しみ方。
大当たり。
Oh, fuck's sake! He's being watched. Oh, this is not gonna end well.
完璧主義の人間が全てを投げ出すまでの感情の動きがちゃんと描けてるんだ。
だから2は見れたのか。
Oh, I hate it. I hate it.
僕も最初なんで面白いのかわかんなくってさ、わざわざ3回見たよ。グロ描写も2が一番キレてたから辛かったね。
ちょい事情があってさ、ここ最近は映画三昧。でもちゃんと映画館でってわけじゃねえんだよな。
Oh, they're so
やっぱ
cute.
り映画館で面白い作品引いた時の感動はでかいよ。オンデマンドも
Oh, this is gonna be so tragic because it's gonna be like in another life they could have been
今
friends,
度おすすめあったら
but
連れ
now
てって
they're gonna be on opposing sides.
連絡先？
But they want him to get close to Itadori because they want Schooner on side.
母さん、こんなところで珍しいね。友達？
さっき会ったばかりだよ。
さっき会ったばかりだけど、友達になる。
Oh, that's so adorable.
仲良くしてやってね。
タバコやめてって言ってるだろ。
あんたの前で吸わないって約束だったね。
虎杖裕二です。お母さん、ネギ似合わないっすね。
お、わかる？ネギ似合わない女目指してんの。
何言ってんだ。
ユージくん、どう？晩飯食べてかない？
ちょっ
Oh,
と迷惑だろ。
he's gonna go to his house for dinner. It's gonna be so tragic.
見
策によらず無茶するな、あの術
Little worm.
ずいぶん派手にやったな。
面白いやつだった。
He's had the time of his life. He loved this.
呪力の消費も自己補完の範疇だ。それと自分の魂の形はどれだけいじってもノーリスクのようだね。ゲト、服ちょうだい。
Get me some clothes.
一度退くと言っていたけど、瓦礫の下かも。
He's definitely not under the rubble.
吉野純平の自宅にそれはちょっと。
大丈夫大丈夫。
私もすぐ向かいます。違和感を抱いたらすぐ逃げてください。
I hope nothing happens to his mom because he talks about how like his mom is the only person that he would care about if they died. So I'm a little worried.
ただこれは監督する立場として大失態。チャランポランな五条さんならまだしも、大人オブ大人の七海さんに叱られたら、私は多分。
I'd cry too. Oh, bad timing.
はい、叱られる。はい、ごめんなさい。
今位置情報を送ったのでピックアップお願いします。私は一度高専に戻って家入さんの治療を受けます。大丈夫。
He's so
死ぬような
chill.
傷じゃありません。
よかった。すぐ虎杖君と合流。そちらに向かいます。
He's gonna be like, "Where's Itadori?"
私のバカ。
You shouldn't have mentioned anything.
あの呪霊は子供だ。おそらく発生してからそこまで時間が経っていない。貪欲に自分の成長を楽しんでいる。五条さんが戦った特級呪霊は領域展開まで得得していた。
But he
奴が
hasn't.
生きていたらそのステージまで登り詰めるのにそう時間はかからないだろ
Oh.
う。加えてこちらの予想をはるかに超える被害者数。
So he's kind of in his infancy, his growth stage. So he's probably going to be the most powerful of all because human hatred knows no limits. So
母さん飲みすぎ。
ユジコ面白いな。ほら、モノボケモノボケ。
最悪の酔っ払いだ。それキャストアウェイだろ。
正解。
私わかんない。映画ネタ？
oh, they're so cute together, and she's so happy to see her son happy. Even though she's drank quite a lot.
純平の母ちゃん、いい人だな。
She's doing her best.
学校？
Did his dad pass away?
いいんじゃない？行かなくても。
Is this something they're going to be able to bond over?
学校なんて小さな水槽に過ぎないんだよ。海だって他の水槽だってある。好きに選びな。お、私めっちゃいいこと言うな。名言出ちゃったわ。さすがに。
She's trying her best to make him realize that school is temporary.
虎杖君のお母さんはどんな人？
なあ、俺会ったことねえんだわ。父ちゃんはうっすら記憶あんだけど、俺にはじいちゃんがいたから。
Oh, bless.
あ
So he
いい
never
電話
knew his mom. Did his mom
もしも
pass
し、
away
藤
when
井さん？
she gave birth to him, or did his mom leave? We don't really know.
じゃあ2時間後に。
Doesn't even give him a
呪
chance.
術師なんだよね。
おう、
Oh, Lord.
言ってよかったのかな。
人を殺したことある？
ない。
でもいつか悪い呪術師と戦ったりするよね。その時はどうするの？
What he has to
で
do.
も殺したくはないな。なんつうか、一度人を殺したら殺すって選択肢が俺の生活に入り込むと思うんだ。
Oh, he wants to find
命の
other
価値が曖昧に
ways.
なって大切な人の価値までわからなくなるのが俺は怖い。
Because life is valuable, even if it's somebody that you dislike and harms
人に
others.
心なんてない。
Killing shouldn't be the
So
first resort and the only resort.
僕が人を殺すことであの魂が汚れてしまうなら僕に人は殺せない。
げ、もうこんな時間。片付けないと。あ、何これ。
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. If something happens to his mom, he is going to be severely pushed onto that path.
里桜高校での事件後、吉野純平の自宅から実母吉野凪の遺体と むき出しのスクナの指、
あー
草の小指が見つかる。吉野凪はスクナの指によって寄せられた呪霊に襲われたとみられる。遺体は腰から下が欠損していた。現場には目視で確認可能な血痕はなく、吉野凪の遺体は寝室に横たわっており、
Oh, that's
掛け
awful.
布団をめくると、あるだけの保冷剤と氷のうが敷き詰められていた。
俺は足手まといかよ。ナナミ、仲間が死にました。でも僕はそこにいませんでした。なぜなら僕は子供だからです。なんて。そんなの、俺はごめんだ。
知っての通り、例の継ぎはぎの呪霊は改造した人間を使う。どうしようもない人間というのは存在します。
You'd have to taint your soul by killing them because there's no other option. He doesn't want him to have to do that.
でもそれは今ではない。理解してください。
He's trying to protect him as much as he
決して
can.
罪ではない。君にはこれから吉野純平の監視をお願いします。
Where is he now that his mom is gone?
嗅ぎ慣れた朝の空気も見慣れた通学路も今日は
これはスクナといって呪いを呼び寄せる呪物なんだ。
なんでそんなものがうちに。
人を呪うことで金を稼いでいる呪詛師は多い。そういう連中の仕業だろう。
Did he
骨と
plan
金さえあれば
this?
人なんて簡単に呪い殺せるんだよ。心当たりはないかい？君や母親を恨んでいる人間、金と暇を持て余した薄暗い人間に。
表彰状、全国読書感想文コンクール最優秀作品賞、伊藤翔太。
Why do I feel like this was all planned to further cement his descent into being a curse user? Why do I feel like this isn't somebody who spent money and time on cursing him or his mother, but this was actually planted by Mahito or Geto in order to further draw him into their plan? Because Yoshino they're seeing sort of as the gateway to Itadori, because in being friendly with each other, they feel like Itadori might be swayed to their side, because Geto was watching them and was like, bingo. And then all of a sudden, this finger of Schooner shows up in his mother's apartment. All of a sudden. Where the fuck did that come from? No, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that it was just some random person.
いやー、照れますね。何してくれてんの？適当に書けっつったろ。最優秀賞なんか取らせやがって。死ぬか？
ごめん。
They're gonna push him to actually kill someone, and that's gonna taint his soul.
何あの黒いの。
どれどれ？
闇より出て闇より黒く、その汚れを急ぎ払え。
Sir? What?
悪いね、真人。私の残影を残すわけにはいかないから。帳の効果は？
内からは出られない。外からは入れる。あくまで呪力の弱い人間はだけど。
住宅地での事前告知のない帳。すぐに窓が通報するだろう。
大丈夫じゃないかな。順平がスクナの器を引き当てた時点で流れはできてるんだ。二人をぶつけて虎杖裕二にスクナ優位の縛りを課す。
I mean, he's already in a pack with Schooner.
それよりよか
They
った
don't
な。
even
あの
realize.
指、貴重なものなんだろ？
少年院の指はすぐに虎杖裕二が取り込んでしまったからね。吉野純平の家に仕掛けた方は高専に回収させたい。
I knew it. I knew it.
悪巧み？
まあね。
They sacrificed his mother in order to push Yoshino further into their arms for their plan. Yoshino's gonna taint his soul because he thinks the school did it.
しっかりしろ。大丈夫か？
死にはしないよ。
Fuck. There's no coming back from this.
なんで？いや、知っているのか？何が起こっているか？
It's him.
ちゃんと見ててね。
お前、その傷。
聞きたいことがある。あれをうちに置いたの。
No, he didn't.
何の
But you're too blinded by hatred to realize that it's not him.
何したてめえ！
なってないな。まだ自分が質問を質問で返せる立場だと思っているのか。
He doesn't even know what you're talking about.
質問の答えがイエスでもノーでも。
Oh, this is so painfully tragic.
でだから
Oh,
何してんだよ俊
引っ込んでろよ呪術師。
so sad because they could have been friends. I knew it was going to be tragic. I knew there was going to be something that pushed them against each other. Oh, that's just so sad though. Just seeing how much they were bonding with each other over movies and how happy his mum was that he was making friends, and he was beginning to understand her words where she's basically saying school is just one aquarium. There is so much good in this world that you have yet to see. Soon you'll get to pick your own aquarium. You'll get to meet new people, new fish in this big ocean that you can find connection with. You don't have to think that school is the be all and end all. And I'm not justifying the bullying by any means. I was bullied in school. It's horrific. But what she's trying to say is that it is temporary. And as horrible as it is, there is still good to be found elsewhere, and to remain hopeful and optimistic. And he could have been hopeful and optimistic if he didn't have people that were working against him to put him at odds with Itadori so they can force Itadori to make a pact with Sukuna that gives Sukuna dominance. But they already have a pact, so I don't know if they can renegotiate pacts once they've been formed, but they obviously don't know there's been a pact formed. But then we might actually see that pact come into play because Sukuna can say a word and gain control for, I think it's like 2 minutes or something. So maybe Sukuna utilizes that because he's curious about what's going on. So we might actually see the pact come into play, because obviously, as far as Itadori is aware, there is no pact because his memories were wiped. And there's this kind of, is there, isn't there a pact? But there very obviously is, because again, it was based on whether Sukuna would win the fight. And he did win the fight, and Itadori didn't remember anything. And then Gojo brought up the idea of a pact and was kind of looking at Itadori like, because obviously he came back. So there has to be a reason behind that, because Sukuna has something bigger in mind. But this is just awful. I had a horrible feeling as soon as it showed them getting along together and they were bonding and they were really connecting with each other. I was like, oh no. And then it flashed back to Mahito saying, you know, if you meet a jujitsu sorcerer, be friendly with them, because their whole goal was to get him to meet Itadori and to hopefully bring Itadori on side. And now the other aspect of that is to put them against each other, to have them at odds. And Nanami couldn't have predicted this was going to happen. He's trying to protect Itadori. He doesn't want Itadori to have to taint his soul by killing people that are irreversibly changed. And as he said, it's not a sin to be a child. You're trying to grow up faster than you need to, and I'm trying to protect you as best I can because I'm an adult and that is what I am supposed to do. Nanami knows that once Itadori has to kill someone, there's no coming back from that. And I think that's further cemented to him when he sees the look on his face, when it was confirmed by the doctor that they weren't the reason for those two transformed humans dying. The relief that Itadori felt. He still carries the weight of that and the guilt, but knowing that he wasn't the one to kill them likely filled him with such relief that Nanami wants to protect him as much as he can by not forcing him into that situation. And again, he's having that conversation with Yoshino where he's talking about how he doesn't want to kill people because then the importance of life becomes tangled. There's no sort of coming back from it once you kill someone, because it becomes the only resort, the only way forward, because the more you kill, the more desensitized you become to it, and the importance of life and how much it means becomes lost. And Itadori doesn't want to ever be in that position where he sees lives as disposable, that he's not focused on prioritizing and saving lives and making sure that they don't have to suffer a horrible death. That's his concern and his worry. And he opened up with Yoshino and shared that with him. And Yoshino was understanding where that was coming from. And he was talking about how if killing someone would taint his soul, then he can't kill anyone. And that was showing sort of how he was coming around to the reality that maybe this isn't truly what he wants, because obviously Mahito talked about the heart, and the heart being sort of this moral fortitude and courage that humanity has, and it's the root source of our emotions. But because Mahito has no use for that, Mahito's whole focus is the soul and how the soul shapes the body. He writes off of the heart as being of no consideration. He doesn't believe it exists because it's of no use to him. It's disposable because he can't use those emotions to shape people. Yoshino buys into that idea because it helps Yoshino kind of rationalize his own resentment towards people by going, okay, well, if they're heartless, if there's no emotions in them, then it makes what I'm going to do so much easier because I'm not emotionally attached to the situation. But then just as he's coming to this realization that he doesn't actually want to kill people, he's forced into that because they start to manipulate him. He loses his mom and loses her in such a tragic way as well. And she's the only one that means something to him. And the fact that he confessed that to Mahito means that they fully intended this to push him further down this dark path. Because once he lost the only person that means so much to him, there was no coming back from it. They have fully corrupted this poor boy and then turned his attention towards the school and the bullies as being the ones that would mean him harm. Because again, he's already bitter and resentful and angry at his school and the teachers and the bullies. So they're playing on that negativity, they're playing on that resentment. But not just that, they're playing on the weight of losing his mother, that guilt and that terror and that fear and that loneliness, and forcing him to exert that onto the wrong people. And he doesn't realize he's being played. And I think that's what's the most tragic aspect of it, is that he doesn't realize they're using him. And now he's going up against Itadori, and this was the person that he was beginning to form a friendship with, that they were bonding over movies and able to find comfort in one another. And now they're on completely different sides. I had a horrible feeling. As soon as his mom was introduced, I was like, oh no, this is not going to end well. And it didn't end well. It's just awful. I feel so sorry for Yoshino. And I feel so sorry for Itadori. I love that the show gives really sympathetic characters. I can't hate Yoshino as much as he's going down this dark path. I can't help but feel so sorry for him. I just want to give this poor boy a hug, even though he's out here about to kill a bunch of people. It just breaks my heart. Mahito's behavior makes so much sense now that it talks about him almost being like a child, that he's almost in this like infancy stage of being a curse. He's not yet fully discovered his own capabilities and powers yet, that he hasn't established domain expansion in the same way that the others have. But Nanami is worried that when he does, it's going to be incredibly dangerous, that he needs to be excised ASAP. Because I think with Mahito formulating as the manifestation of all humanity's negativity and hatred towards one another, he set out to be the strongest of the strong. And I think that's what Nanami is recognizing, that shit, we have something really, really big and dangerous on our hands. And once his knowledge of his powers and his full capability awakens, once he matures, he's going to be almost unstoppable. And we have to do what we can now whilst he's in this infancy stage to prevent him from actually harming further people in the future, from getting to this point where we can't actually stop him and do anything about it. But poor Yoshino and poor Itadori, because now they're going to be at odds and they're going to have to fight each other. And I am kind of excited for the next episode, in so much as I think Schooner's pact might come into play, but we also might see Itadori interact with Mahito and Geto, and that intrigues me. Or maybe it's Schooner that interacts with them, but obviously Itadori doesn't remember interacting with them, because they haven't really revealed themselves to Itadori yet. They've kind of just set themselves into the background. They're overlooking what's happening, they're watching, but they're not showing themselves, they're not intervening. So I find that very curious. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this react, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. And until next episode, bye!